Imagine this. In a lively neighborhood in Kabul, a group of kids is having fun playing football, running around and enjoying their freedom as they are born as boys in a country with lots of restrictions for women. But what if I tell you that one of them is actually a girl? The 8-year-old kid, who is dressed in the traditional clothes for Afghan boys, is a Bacha Posh, which means she is a girl living as a boy. A Bacha Posh literally means dressed as a boy, is actually a girl who dresses, acts, and is treated like a boy, with all the freedoms and responsibilities that come with it. She can play sports, go to a religious school, and sometimes even work to help her family. Such transformations from being a girl to a boy opens up a whole new world for them. But there's a catch. When she becomes a teenager, she's expected to go back to her usual role as a girl. And that transition isn't always easy. In Afghan society, like in many others, women often find themselves considered inferior, placed in a secondary position. Their lives are shaped by strict rules, forcing them into a secluded existence. The right to education, freedom of movement, work opportunities, and empowerment is often out of reach for them, as the limitations they face tie them to the earnings and decisions of the male breadwinners. From father to brothers, and ultimately to husbands, their ownership seems to shift as they reach puberty. So in a society where men usually take the lead and women stay at home, Bacha Posh is like a secret key that lets girls unlock the world usually reserved for boys. In many cases, daughters are unfortunately seen as a weight, while sons are expected to provide, carry the family name forward, and offer support to aging parents. Some families turn their daughters into Bacha Posh when it's necessary. These girls can venture outside on their own for shopping, pick up their little sisters from school, find jobs, play sports, and take on any role that boys typically do in society. Sometimes it's a matter of pride to have a son figure at home. Some families believe that a Bacha Posh will bring good luck for the next child to be born as a boy. This tradition doesn't pass by well-known families. Aziza Rafat, who was Member of Parliament, has had no sons, therefore raised one of her daughters as a Bacha Posh. She says that some things are happening in Afghanistan that are really not imaginable for Western people. When you don't give birth to a son in Afghanistan, it's like you are missing something huge in life, or like you lost the most important point of your life. Everyone feels sad for you, she said. We're not sure what the new rulers of Afghanistan, the Taliban, think about this tradition because they haven't said much about it. Even though their rule this time seems less strict than before, women's rights have still taken a hit. Lots of women can't work anymore, and older girls can't go back to public schools in many places. With all these changes happening, the Bacha Posh tradition might become even more appealing to some families. And since kids go back to being girls eventually, the Taliban might not make it a big deal. But how do these girls, who are dressed as boys, feel about themselves and their new lifestyles? Most of them are still girls at heart. Some of them still dream about having long hair again or wearing pretty dresses. There are also some girls who feel imprisoned in a girl's clothes after living as a boy, because being a Bacha Posh gives them so many opportunities that they could not have in a country like Afghanistan. So this tradition isn't just about dressing up. It's a way for girls to explore new possibilities and break some of the rules that hold them back. It's like peeking behind the curtain of gender roles and getting a glimpse of a world where things are flipped around. On the other hand, they live their new lives to the fullest. They play outside as much as they want and never help their mothers or sisters to prepare a meal or to clean the house. Some of them go even further to have a girlfriend and receive letters from female admirers who don't care about genders. As they get older, and as their bodies change, people outside the family can easily recognize that they are girls, and sometimes they are called names for how they dress. It's ironic that some men call these girls anti-Islamist when they deny Islamic rights and freedoms given to women. Because of these oppressions, some women fight to continue living as a man, although it happens very rarely, and almost all Bacha Posh girls return to living as girls. Afghan families tend to think that going back to being a girl is as easy as switching buttons, but those who experienced it say it's very challenging because of the social norms. One of such girls, who lived as a boy, is now 34, married, and has 4 children. She weeps for the freedom of the male world she once had. In Afghanistan, being a boy is similar to having a treasure, she says with a hint of sadness. Boys can live without limits. Nobody holds them back. But living as a girl is different. They push girls into early marriages like it's the only way. Until a few years ago, her role as a teacher at a school was a beacon of hope. But when the Taliban came to power, she lost her job because she was teaching to boys. She says as she tears up, "Being a man is like having a ticket to a better life." Her voice trembles as she whispers, "I wish I could change places, be a man instead of a woman. It's the way to escape this painful struggle." This story of this one woman reflects realities faced by many women in Afghanistan, echoing the yearnings of countless others, dreams stifled by societal norms. According to a 2018 UNICEF report, 1 in every 3 Afghan girls is married before they even turn 18. What's more is only 19% of girls under the age of 15 can read and write. While precise numbers are not known, it's clear that the Bacha Posh practice isn't very rare. Estimates hint that in each neighborhood, there could be at least one Bacha Posh embracing their unique role. When asked, Afghans from different generations often remember a female family member, friend, neighbor, or colleague who spent their childhood living as a boy. Another woman who had once been a Bacha Posh shared her remarkable experience. When she took on the guise of a boy, she noticed a distinct change in how people treated her. Recalling her memories, she remembered a special moment with her grandfather. When she was living as a boy, her grandpa treated her with kindness and even gave her money. Puzzled by this, she questioned why he didn't do the same for her sisters. His response would be that, "It's because they are girls," but her answer is bitter to hear, "But I'm a girl too."